I see you. The hardest thing can be starting. And look, I know, like, I know how you feel. Your brain's told you that many excuses. You've heard it all before. It's too cold outside, or just sleep a little bit more. Oh, you need more sleep, right? I didn't sleep that good last night, so I need to sleep better, so I shouldn't get up and exercise, or I shouldn't do this. Now, those are important to an extent, but the more we listen to that, the harder it makes it for you to get up and take action. It makes it harder for you to start, okay? And look, I get it. See, for me, I was saying I wanted to run, okay? I was saying that. A lot of people heard that. And I would keep coming up with excuses. Why was I even running? When would I run? How long did I actually want to run for? See, back in 2019, I was able to run a 5 kilometer race in under 20 minutes. That was the first time I'd ever done that. I guess you could consider that somewhat, the best I got to. But I wanted more than that now. I want to come back. I also want to run under that speed. That's like my goal. I want to crack sub 20 again. That's why I'm here. I want to show you what it's like to start something and kind of what it's like to go along that journey. Now, arguably, I could have started this earlier. And again, I didn't start it earlier when I should have. I'm all the way here, kind of 8 months after my first run this year, where I was kind of building that consistency. Okay. So what exactly did that first run look like? Well, now this is why you should start. Before you start, now I know everyone's got social media, or if you've got social media, or if you don't, that's okay. Go and get this app, download it right now. This is an actionable step. Download an app called Strava. It's like social media, but for athletes. And you don't have to follow anyone, that's okay. You can follow me, but you don't have to follow anyone, that's cool. You can just be yourself. And this is like an accountability log. It tracks what you do, and it gives you metrics and speeds and this and that. If you go for a bike ride, which I recommend if you're part of this program, you're part of this. If you go for a run as well, it tracks that. So for me, I've gone back and I've checked. So the first run I did in 2023, when I was starting that again, like I said, starting, right, was a 5K. It was the 11th, a Saturday of February. I ran 27 minutes. Now, to some of you, that might seem pretty quick for 5K. But for me, I kind of remember when I first started running a 5K. I think I ran maybe 25 or 26 minutes on the first go. This is when I was quite a bit younger. I think I was maybe in my first or second year of university. But I was quite a lot younger, I guess, so arguably it was easier, right? But no, in all seriousness, like, that was my first run. But I didn't let that be the last run, and I knew that that's okay. It's okay to have that. Like, I still did the 5K, I didn't stop, right? So that was the start. And that's where it would start this journey in 2023, right? 27 minutes, okay? And I kind of wanted a goal. So my goal was to run under 20 minutes. Let's break that down, because it's quite a lot, right? It's kind of like, starting with wanting to, beat the final boss, or some gargantuan task that, if you're going to say it like that, it can kind of seem a bit confusing where to start, right? Now, that's exactly kind of right. So I was able to kind of see that, but I knew that I'd have to have other smaller goals along that way. I'd have to do a thing called building consistency. I'd have to train myself to get comfortable running at an uncomfortable pace, challenging myself, to push myself to that next level, right? I had to start the training process. So this involved me building consistency. It involved me running not only 5Ks, but also 4Ks, 4Ks, and then sometimes I'd run a 6K. That's pretty cool. But I came to learn there was this one thing that was really helpful for building my speed, right? Not only consistency, but also a thing called interval runs. And before I'd never really done this. And I guess this was important because, well, it really helped make a difference. It really helped me see the results. It really allowed me to challenge myself. And I kind of broke it up from the other monotony of the runs, right? Which was really cool. The other runs are kind of like, start, finish, go all the way through, right? This was a bit different. An interval run is where you simulate a race environment, right? There's many ways to do this. I kind of did this in a way that was a bit easier for me or easier to remember. I kind of was a bit lucky because I have like a Garmin watch, a running watch, that can effectively do all this stuff for me, right? But I did this, and you can too. Now, I'd only recommend running if you're kind of within a certain BMI. I don't recommend it for weight loss, but if you're sort of like my figure, you're pretty skinny, or you're pretty lean, and you kind of want to try push your fitness a bit, then you can look into running, right? So, going through what I did. An interval run. 1 kilometer, right? Not too hard. 1 kilometer, but at your race pace. The fastest pace that you can do, hold for a kilometer, isn't going to be easy. So of course, you're going to want to jog to warm up, get ready, get the muscles loose, and then, boom, 1 kilometer, right? Distance. Then after you hit that kilometer, you're going to have a rest. Now, arguably, when I first did this, I was a bit lenient to myself. I think I might have had a 5-minute break or a 4-minute break. It's quite a long time, right? And it's only recently now I've been able to get it down to 3 minutes, and hopefully we'll get it down to 2 minutes. Now, the thing about this is, on my watch, I sort of calculate and tell it after 1K when I hit start, so I do start and just warm up, then I hit the lap button and it effectively initiates the 1K, right? Clock's on, go, right? So I'm going, I'm huffing, I'm puffing, right? And then, beauty is, like towards the last 20 meters, it kind of makes a ding. So okay, I'm almost there. So you can push. You can relax for a bit, right? Catch your breath, you're exhausted. Now before this, don't have a lot of water because you're gonna get a stitch and it's gonna suck. And don't get tempted to have water while you're in your jogging break. I guess the best way also to help yourself do an interval run is to go to a place where visually you kind of know where a kilometer is. And this might not be for everyone, but you might be able to kind of do this. So for me, I'm quite fortunate. There's an area that I can kind of circle that from point A to point B, coming like a full lap, is about a kilometer. I have to do a little bit more, but it's not much, maybe 5-10% more. But visually I know, okay, I'm about halfway point here, 3/4, 1/4 of the way through. Okay, keep pushing. You want a track that's smooth, not too uphill and not too downhill. This has a little bit of downhill, but that's okay. It's not too bad. And this is really helpful because this kind of helped me train. I knew when I went there to that course had a specific mission in mind. That was my interval course. And it kind of just helped me switch it on. I kind of do different runs for more recovery, a slower run. I kind of run through a graveyard. Longer runs where I try to do 6K at kind of a good pace. That's a different pace as well, and that's kind of really enjoyable because I get to see a really good sunrise, and that's awesome. So that's kind of what I did. I did these intervals, and I did 5 reps. I think the first time I ever did maybe 4, maybe 3. But I started, right? And then I tried again. And the other day, I haven't done intervals in a while, I did 4. And I was pretty proud of myself because the thing is, I get to check those results, right? And for 3 or 4 out of the 4 efforts, they were all under 4 minutes, right? Which means technically I'm there, right? I can do the run under 4 minutes. It's just a matter of 4 minutes, okay. It's just a matter of proving that I'm race day, right? And that's the thing. I had to start racing too. Now the beauty is, if you're into running, there's a thing called Park Run where you can run. It's free every Saturday. morning at 8 a.m. And that's where you start. Now, the cool thing is, when you're kind of growing up, you might get invited to a sports day and you think, oh, once a year, got this one opportunity to prove myself, right? And there's all that pressure and you're like, oh, I don't want to mess up. But this lets you start, and it still gives you that simulated feeling of like competition because there's lots of people there. But you can go in again and again, and you can really try, test your training and prove yourself. You can see if your consistency is pulling off. And again, I had to start for this park run again. I had to start doing it, right, this year. The first time I did it, I think it was like 21 minutes and maybe 14, 15 seconds. So pretty slow, right? Well, it wasn't under 20 minutes, but I was close. I brought it down from 27 minutes to 21 minutes. That's almost 6 minutes, right? That's nuts. And the other day on the weekend, it was 20 minutes and I think 19 or 18 seconds. Pretty close, right? Pretty close. And if I didn't, now excuses again, if I was able to run that final K faster or fast enough, I would have had it. But that's okay. It's not okay, but it's like, go again. I'm still starting. Have that mentality that, it's not the end of the world, but also you need to challenge yourself, right? Because sometimes you're going to push and you won't think you'll be able to do it, right? And you'll absolutely just surprise yourself with what you can do. It's like the other day, I did a fun run that happens once a year right here. And really crazy. So many people, right? It was 6 kilometers. And I kind of ran the 6 kilometers maybe 2 days before. And I'm like, oh man, I'm not really feeling it. Again, excuses, right? Excuses. I have to start this. I did start. I had my music in, trying to calm out whatever noise came into my mind, and just focus, right? And I know you can focus on that and clear it all out. Just run, right? Just delve into what's important. And that's what it's about, right? So for me, I was able to run that. And I ran so quick. I ran the 6Ks in 24 minutes. That's insane. So it was like 4 minutes a K basically for 6Ks. And that was nuts. I've run 5Ks, at a certain pace like that, but I've never run 6Ks like that before. Maybe it was the spirit of having so many people. There were so many people I have to duck, weave, get through people. The first kilometer was ridiculous. It was just, there were so many people. It was just a matter of just weaving between and trying not to injure yourself. But I was able to get to a point where I could really just open up and just really not have to worry about ducking and weaving between people. And that was awesome. But there's so many times along that I wanted to give up, or I wanted to slow it down. The 2 kilometer mark, 3 kilometer mark, 4 kilometer mark. I was like, is this really going to work? Am I going too hard? But I just quietened the mind and I just ran. I listened to the music. I just ran. Arguably, you could sort of say I shouldn't be listening to music if there's that many people, but because I ran before and I could sort of see everyone, and I'm pretty lean, it was okay. And the road was pretty flat. There wasn't really anything to watch out for, apart from all the plastic cups that people had thrown on the ground at the water stations. But that's another thing, right? I'm running and there's all this temptation, right? There's icy poles, there's water, there's stations, right? But no, just focus, right? Straight through. And that's what I did. That's me starting, right? And I've never done a fun run like that. I did the 3K version of that many years ago, but I never ran it from start to finish. It's halfway of the technical course, but still 6Ks to do that time in what seemed like a couple days before, crazy. If I said to myself, you can do that, I would have just laughed. But I did it. I pushed myself. Even though I didn't feel like I was ready, I made myself ready. And that was just crazy. So, start. If you're in a position where you can run, get a Strava account. If you're not, you can still get a Strava account, right? You can use it to ride bikes. You can follow a lot of what I'm going to talk about here. Riding bikes and using that to build fitness and have weight loss. But if you are in a position to run, start, if you haven't ran before, maybe do your first kilometre or 2 kilometres in the first week. Then next week, do another kilometre after that. You've got to condition your body, right? Make sure your shoes are good and everything. But yeah, you'll be fine. I know you can do it.